speak to young women that are interested in finance and young women that are in finance, I tell them a couple of things. You've got to be persistent. You've got to be curious. You've got to be clear about what you want and connect with those people that can help you get there. It can be difficult at times sometimes for women to be heard within this industry. So you've got to keep speaking up, and you've got to keep speaking up to the right people. That is incredibly important. Know how to advocate for yourself, and know how to find advocates within your organization that will help you on your career path. But it is challenging. A lot of the social activities within the financial industry are traditionally men-dominated activities, and we as women have to be involved in that, and have to be sure that we're standing up for and advocating for ourselves in our career.
Well, Tracy, I mentioned that you've been doing this for more than 20 years, and I'm wondering how you've seen it change during your career. And, we say 20 years, and it sounds like a long time, but if we go 20 years ago, we're in 2002. So, I'm just curious how things have changed during your career.
Yeah, have you had that experience where you're 20 years ago and you think it's 1990, but it's not? It's
I'm having that experience right now when I'm doing the math. Absolutely.
Right, exactly. I think there is much more recognition these days in the financial industry that women have some really unique qualities when it comes to working with clients and working in this industry. There's a lot of studies out there. Women are great with relationships and relationship building. That tends to work really well when you're client-facing and working with clients. And then there are other studies out there that show that women have some aspects about their personalities that make them very good investors. They tend to be a little more patient. They tend to be a little more long-term oriented. And I think those things have been recognized. And we tend to do a really good job explaining the complex sometimes. So those are factors that are actually very helpful to us in our careers in finance.
Tracy Bell, Director of Equity Strategies at First Horizon Bank. Tracy, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us on Bloomberg Business Week. Tracy joining us on the phone from Birmingham, Alabama. You're listening to Bloomberg Radio. Tim Stenevec here in New York. We're getting Ed Ludlow in San Francisco back up on the line in just a few minutes. And you're listening to Bloomberg Business Week on Bloomberg Radio. Join Brian Curtis and Doug Krisner at 6 p.m. Wall Street time for Bloomberg Daybreak Asia on Bloomberg Radio. They'll have overseas market reaction to Fed Chair Jay Powell's testimony. That's Daybreak Asia tonight at 6 on Bloomberg Radio.
This Independence Day, the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular is back in Boston. Presented by Bloomberg and Eaton Vance. Join conductor Keith Lockhart with special appearances by Shaka Khan, Javier Colon, and Heather Headley. Watch and listen Monday, July 4th, starting at 8 p.m. exclusively on Bloomberg Television, Bloomberg.com, Bloomberg Quick Take, and right here on Bloomberg 1130.
Hybrid work is here. It's there. It's everywhere. But for someone to be able to work from here, there has to be someone here, making sure everything is safe, secure, consistent. So log in from here or here. Sure that someone is here, ready to fix anything, anytime, anywhere, even here. That's because nobody, and I mean nobody, makes hybrid work better. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
What if value and values could coexist? They can. Bloomberg's ESG solutions integrate trusted data and research directly into your workflows, so you can invest sustainably and unlock opportunity. Ready to think bigger? Start at Bloomberg.com/ESG.
Dear Calvary Hospital, there is no better caregiver on earth than our mom, Mary Houlihan. She taught us the value of our family, our Catholic faith, and caring for those in need. After raising the 6 of us, Mom went back to college and earned her doctoral degree in social work from Fordham University. Then she volunteered at her beloved Calvary Hospital. There she witnessed tender love and care for end-of-life patients as never before. During her final days, Calvary was there for her, making Mom's last journey peaceful and pain-free. She received the dignity and compassion she so greatly deserved. God bless you, Calvary Hospital. The Houlihan family.
This is Frank Calamari, president of Calvary Hospital. To learn more about our unique Calvary care, call us at 718-518-1000. Calvary Hospital is where life continues.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. Join us as we lift our lanterns high in order to move toward a world free of blood cancers. Join us as we light the night for a loved one. Join us. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Our mission is to cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma. Our aim is to improve the quality of life of patients and their families. Join us. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Join your community and help bring light to the darkness of cancer. Join us as we light the night. Find your local event at lightthenight.org. That's lightthenight.org.
Attention RIAs. Are your clients asking for crypto? At Interactive Brokers, advisors can now offer crypto to their clients, and you can trade stocks, options, futures, currencies, bonds, and more from the same platform. Commissions on crypto are just 12 to 18 basis points with no hidden spreads or markups, and there are no ticket charges, custody fees, minimums, platform, or reporting fees. Learn more at ibkr.com/RIA crypto.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, it's 4:29 on Wall Street. Time for drive time traffic. We do it every 15 minutes right here on Bloomberg Radio. Out of Wall Street, the George Washington Bridge. What's going on there?
We still have that police activity, Tim, on the inbound lower level. It's blocking the right lane, causing about a 20-minute delay, and some rubbernecking New Jersey bound. We already have long delays trying to get to the GW. The northbound FDR Drive delays begin around the 30s. Up onto the Harlem River Drive. One long delay at the George Washington Bridge. No better, I'm afraid, with the Henry Hudson Parkway. Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, they're about 30 minutes apiece heading into New Jersey, and 20 minutes inbound at the Holland Tunnel if you're coming over the Pulaski Skyway. Still working on that accident on the Grand Central, westbound around Jewel Avenue. That's taking out at least one lane. Now just getting word of an accident on the New Jersey Turnpike, southbound in the truck lanes approaching exit 10, and in Parsippany, westbound 46 is closed after Baldwin Road, and that is because of the water main break. In the Bloomberg 11:30 3-day forecast, mostly cloudy the rest of the day with chance of a shower, high at 70. Chance of showers tonight with a low 60 to 65. Partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow. Chance of a morning shower, high 75 to 80. Partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low 60 to 65. And on Friday, warmer with partly sunny skies and a high 80 to 85. With the best ride in and out of the city, I'm out of Wall Street, Bloomberg 11:30.
Broadcasting live from the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers Studio in New York. Bloomberg 1130. To Washington, D.C., Bloomberg 99.1. To Boston, Bloomberg 106.1. To San Francisco, Bloomberg 960. To the country, Sirius XM Channel 119. And around the globe, the Bloomberg Business app and BloombergRadio.com. This is Bloomberg Business Week.
It's Bloomberg Business Week. Tim Senevek live in the Interactive Brokers Studio in New York. Ed Ludlow joining from the Bloomberg 960 studio in San Francisco. In just a couple of minutes, we are going to talk venture capital. We said that we're spending the last portion of our show dedicated to equality. We just heard from Tracy Bell over at First Horizon Bank, who spoke to us all about their Women in Wealth initiative. And then we're going to speak to some venture capital. And when it comes to gender equity, it's not so good. We're going to speak to Joanne Corcoran, the co-CEO of Golden Seeds, in just a few minutes. First, though, Charlie Pellet, give us an update on everything that's happening after hours.
Earnings, and let's begin with KB Home. It did report earnings per share for the second quarter that beat the average analyst estimate. KB after hours advancing now by about 3.1%. Turned out to be a down day on Wall Street. Final hour of trading is when things fell apart for the bulls. The Dow, the S&P, NASDAQ all ending in the red today. 5-point loss for the S&P, down by about 0.1%. Fed Chair Jay Powell today reiterating his commitment to curb inflation and acknowledge the risk of a recession, even as some traders now expect the central bank to closely monitor the impact of its rate hikes on the economy. The Dow down 47, down 0.1%. NASDAQ down 16, also a drop today of 0.1%. 10-year yield 3.15%. Spot gold up 0.2%. to 1837. Bitcoin, though, down 4.2%, back below 20,000 as I speak at 19,959. West Texas Intermediate crude oil today down 4.4%, 104.72 a barrel. Well, as for the market backdrop and the Federal Reserve, Samir Samana is senior global market strategist of Wells Fargo Investment Institute. He was our guest right here on Bloomberg Business Week.
The question for a lot of risk takers in the near term becomes, kind of what's my upside? What's my reason for holding on to risk as opposed to, discretion being the better part of value, moving to the sidelines and then coming back sometime in the fall when I've got better clarity around the Fed's trajectory and the economic trajectory. And I think that's what you're seeing right now is in the near term, there's the risk of that type of overreaction to, look, it's just not worth it holding on, for the next few months.
JP Morgan Chase is laying off hundreds of home lending employees and reassigning hundreds more this week as rapidly rising mortgage rates drive down demand in what had been a red-hot housing market. JP Morgan Chase down 0.5%. Recapping 10-year yield 3.15%, S&P down 5, a drop of 0.1%. I'm Charlie Pelleton. That is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
Thank you so much for that update, Charlie Pellet. Well, as I mentioned before, when it comes to gender equity in the venture capital space, it's not good. Check this out. Female founders secured only 2% of venture capital in the U.S. in 2021. It was the smallest share since 2016, and a sign that efforts to diversify the famously male-dominated industry are struggling. In fact, 2021 was the second year in a row that women's percentage of VC funding shrank. This according to a report in January by the research firm PitchBook. Joanne Corcoran is co-CEO at Golden Seeds. She's also general partner of Golden Seeds Venture Fund. Golden Seeds calls itself the largest angel network in the U.S. that invests in early-stage women-led companies. Joanne Corcoran joining us on the phone from Copenhagen at Denmark. Joanne, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Late here.
Yeah, it's late there. Well, what are you doing? I mean, I know that Golden Seeds is based here in New York. Are you guys opening up an arm in Copenhagen?
I don't know if we're going to do that, but I happen to be on vacation.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking time from the vacation and joining us. Yeah. We are really excited that you're joining us here. Hey, I want to talk about gender equity in the space, but before we do that, since you do have so much experience when it comes to VC, I just want to get an update from you about the market right now, because we've certainly seen IPOs dry up over the last couple of months with the volatility that we've seen. What are you hearing from LPs? What are you hearing from portfolio companies right now?
Well, our working hypothesis is that private markets follow the public markets. We saw it in 2007 and 8. And if you go back and look at 99, 2000, it was the same thing. So it's been a wild ride the last 2 years. Things sort of ground to a halt in the first quarter of 2020. But then with stimulus, it just picked right back up, and prices in the private market just kept on escalating along with the public markets. And then you get to this year, and I just heard you guys talking about it, the public markets are down, at least 20%. And we're starting to feel it in the private markets as well. Where the most price inflation was in later stage stuff, so that's where we're seeing the most pressure right now. But even in the earliest stage stuff where our investors typically start investing, that was up about 20-25% over the course of 2021, and we'll start to see that flatten out.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Joanne. It's Ed Ludlow here in San Francisco. And I've been so excited to talk to you. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the same things in the conversations I'm having in the world of venture capital. I just wonder, I want to get to women-led companies, women founders. But what I'm hearing is that now is kind of the time to batten down the hatches. Does this present an opportunity for you to go out there and deploy capital with the best women-founded startups, the best women-led companies? Because my understanding is that, there is a little bit of a pullback in that capital allocation in the world of venture.
I would say that, it's a tough slog for women to get funded all the time. But because it's always been a tough slog, perhaps for women it won't be such a big switch.
Why is that? What are the factors that make it so tough?
My personal opinion, and there's lots of data to back this up, that a lot of it is implicit bias. When, like our investors, we typically start out investing in the seed stage round, right? So this is generally when companies are pretty new. They don't have a lot of metrics. They are essentially talking about what they plan to do. And when women are pitching, they get asked a lot more risk kind of questions. And men pitching a similar idea get asked a lot more questions about the opportunity. And I do want to say, there's lots of studies that show that it's not just male investors who ask those risk questions. Wow. It's all investors, including women. And one of the things that we do at Golden Seeds is we try to be very conscious of how we are talking to entrepreneurs, that we are, looking at potential as much as we are at risk, no matter who is speaking, men or women.
Joanne Corcoran, co-CEO of Golden Seeds. Joanne, sit with us even though it's 10:39 p.m. in Copenhagen, Denmark, because we're going to do some news, and then we are going to come back. We got a good chunk of time on the other side to talk more about what you're up to as co-CEO of Golden Seeds and general partner of Golden Seeds Venture Fund. For now, to Washington, D.C. we go for a check of the latest world and national news with Nancy Lyons.
Thanks, Tim. President Biden is looking to Congress to help ease the financial burden posed by rising gas prices. He wants a 3-month gas tax holiday.
What I'm proposing is suspending the federal gas tax without affecting the Highway Trust Fund. And here's how we do that. With the tax revenues up this year and our deficit down over $1.6 trillion this year alone, we'll still be able to fix our highways and bring down prices of gas. We can do both at the same time.
Biden also wants states to suspend their local gas taxes. He's also calling on oil companies to increase their refining. Fed Chairman Jay Powell today assured the Senate Banking Committee that the Federal Reserve Board is determined to bring down inflation and has the tools to do it. Bloomberg's Irv Chapman reports.
The Fed's policy course was questioned by Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Chair Powell, will gas prices go down as a result of your interest rate increase?
I would not think so, no.
Will the Fed's interest rate increases bring food prices down?
I wouldn't say so, no.
Rate increases make it more likely that companies will fire people